Hey, what is going on, everyone? Hope all of you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a great evening, night, morning, depending on what time of the day you're watching this or what day you're watching this. I mean, could be today, could be tomorrow, could be a week from now. I don't know, but hope everyone's doing well. So I'm gonna be reviewing one of my favorite films growing up and a film I just watched last night, and I have to say it was great revisiting this film, and that is the uh, 90s version of Little Rascals. And I absolutely love this movie. It was part of my childhood, and I still find it to be entertaining. It's definitely nice to revisit a lot of movies from the 90s and seeing excuse me, and seeing like all the cool, clothes that, we used to wear, music, and just the look of the 90s. It's a great feeling for sure. But for those who are not familiar with the Little Rascals, basically this movie is the 90s version of, I believe it's Our Gang, which, if you guys look up the history on them, Ah, very, very sad on what happened to a lot of the cast members of Our Gang. Some of them got to see, adulthood, why others not so much, and what they went through. And you got, of course, that was at a different time in our world, but still, it's very, very sad. But basically, in the early, close to mid 90s, we would get a, a 90s version of that called Little Rascals. Now, the cast at this time, not really known, and I think a lot of them went on to pursue other things, other than Bug Hall, who plays Alfalfa. He would go on to do American Pie Presents the Book of Love, and then he would also go to do the I guess, spin-off or different adaptation to Little Rascals. I can't remember the title of that one. It was a straight home video release, and he had a small little role in that. I know a couple years ago they ended up doing a reunion. They did a photo shoot, and then there was some interviews with the cast and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely one of those 90s films that, not just that film, but there's a lot of them where, the cast at that time, really didn't go on to do, continue acting. Maybe some of them, but a lot of them pursued other things. And that tends to happen a lot, especially if you look at, around, I would say, probably all of the 90s and maybe early 2000s, you would constantly get these movies with a young cast, and then that was it. You didn't see the cast anymore, other than maybe a couple actors. Excuse me. So, excuse me. I've been drinking some coffee, so I figured I'd have some coffee while I did this movie review. Coffee and a review, or review and coffee. I don't know. But so, for those who are not familiar with the plot's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot going on, but basically, you have the Rascals have like their little group. I'm not gonna say what it is because if you think about it, it's not really. Yeah, when you look back on it, it's like, wait, what? But the title does have He-Man in it, and I will keep it at that because I don't want to get in trouble for saying something on YouTube. But basically, their clubhouse burns down. They try to pull a prank on Alfalfa and Darla, which is the love interest, and things start to happen to the point where it basically causes their clubhouse to burn down. So this kind of ends up, having a rift between Spanky, I believe the character's name, and Alfalfa, kind of feuding with each other a little bit. And they do have the opportunity to kind of raise the money to, build their new clubhouse. And of course, they try to do everything they can to get money so they can build it. And while this is going on, they have opportunity to do this little like derby racing. There's this talent show at this carnival. So there's this, little plot and just a whole bunch of shenanigans end up happening throughout it. Um, Of course, they got to deal with the two bullies of the film, the cliche bullies that we see in a lot of like 90s kids movies. And it's a fun movie. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on for the plot. It's just, fun cheese. And, at that time, a lot of us were we were that age. So it's always great back to see how we were probably like when we were kids. Now, I will say this movie's got some great, great cameos. That was the one thing I love about this movie is that you get all these different actors and actresses throughout the film. Like we get Leah Thompson. She has a small little role as a ballet instructor. We got, of course, Reba McEntire in this. Her role is a little bit longer. We got Whoopi Goldberg. She has a small little brief appearance. Donald Trump, don't care what anybody's political view is, but Donald Trump, of course, did show up in a few movies, and he's in this. So there is this young man. He's wealthy, comes from a wealthy family. He plays, of course, his character's father is played by Donald Trump, but basically he steals Darla away from Alfalfa, and yeah, you'll recognize him right away. I mean, if you've never seen this movie, then you'll recognize him straightforward because he was in Full House. He played one of Michelle's friends. Uh, as the later seasons came and Michelle was getting old, that character was getting older. He was one of the friends, and he did a few other things, but after that, he kind of disappeared, and I don't know what he's been doing since. But I remember seeing him a lot in the '90s. He was kind of one of those, I felt like he was going to be one of those child actors that was going to grow up to be like you'd see him in everything, but not so much. Um, but yeah, Little Rascals is a fun late to mid '90s. I want to say that movie came out like '93, '94, so close to still early '90s, but close to mid '90s, I would say. And just looking back at it's fun. It kind of I almost get the same like feeling I do when I watch Dennis the Menace. You get that like early '90s feel to it. Of course, it's filmed in the '90s, and you would get it, but it's like almost like you're traveling back to that time period. I guess it's that more of that nostalgic feeling, but it almost transports you back. Like, it's hard to explain, but I definitely felt that for sure. And they don't make movies like this or any like. If you look back at the films that we had in the '90s, such a unique decade because we had so many great, there's movies that don't get talked about that I would like to pick up and eventually review, because just all the movies we got were something different, which I do like. Now today, it's either we're getting sequels, prequels, spin-offs, remakes, movies turned into TV shows, which is that I have no issue with. But it also depends on the movie that you're going to turn into a series. That is where like we're getting an actual TV series, which a lot of people have been wanting. So I'm down for that. Um, and there's a few others. I might do a separate video on that. And I also want to do a separate video on a couple actors, like a spotlight. Like two video ideas I do have. I want to do a video on Jonathan Brandis, and I want to do a video on River Phoenix because these are two very underrated actors who had the potential of becoming big stars. And I feel like in an alternate universe, we have Jonathan Brandis, River Phoenix, and Brandon Lee as some top big names. And unfortunately, we lost those three way too soon. So I definitely want to do a video spotlight in their career because I feel like they don't get talked about a lot. And with the films they have, they definitely deserve to, be acknowledged for sure. But yeah, that's my review for Little Rascals. If you guys have seen this, I would love to hear your opinion. It's just a fun classic movie. I need to pick it up on Blu-ray. I've been trying to keep an eye out on a lot of like classic 90s films that have Blu-ray releases. Like I have Casper, I have the 94 Flintstones, I have Harry and the Hendersons, but there's still a lot I want to pick up, like Little Rascals, Sandlot. Um, I did manage to find Beethoven and Beethoven 2 for like $17 on Blu-ray, which I'm gonna be honest, those are the only two films I like in the series. All the other sequels are garbage. I don't even, excuse me. I think at this point we have like 10 Beethoven films. I still need to pick up a Troll in Central Park. I mean, there's so many. Page Masters, another one. Star Kid, Richie Rich. I mean, there's so many films I grew up with that I definitely want to pick up and then do some reviews. Um, I am hoping that, with Paramount releasing a lot of like older titles, Nick titles on Blu-ray, like we got the Rugrats, which I still need to get. I have Hey Arnold, I have Clock Stoppers, Good Burger, so I got to pick up Good Burger too. I want Harriet the Spy to be released. I don't know why that doesn't have a Blu-ray release. It's got a great cast: Michelle Trachtenberg, Rosie O'Donnell, a few other familiar faces, but no Blu-ray. And I thought when we got Rugrats and Hey Arnold and Clockstoppers, I thought we would get that too. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. So I don't know if there's maybe rights issues or what's going on, but it's definitely long overdue for a Blu-ray, and I really do hope they also release the Jimmy and Timmy Power Hour. I'd like to see a Blu-ray of all three parts. I believe it's 3 or 4 parts, as one movie, and get that on Blu-ray. Nickelodeon and Paramount really need to start maybe considering releasing a lot of their movies, like a lot of the earlier movies they've done on Blu-ray. My only minor complaint is I started watching Hey Arnold and I didn't finish it because it was late at night and I wanted to get some sleep. But the quality on it was, I don't know, I just felt like it was off. Now it looks decent for what it is, but I don't know if it's maybe it's just the animation style that was making me overthink the picture quality, but I don't know. I feel like that Blu-ray seems to be a little off when it comes to the picture quality, just a little. But I will have to revisit the film again sometime soon. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. Definitely give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And again, you guys are, more than welcome to comment down below. But with that being said, I'm Film Talk with Mikey. And until next time, guys, we'll talk films. Thanks for watching.